You are exhausted, and yet you are exactly where you were a year ago. One, the lie. You were raised on. From the moment you could walk, the world started teaching you a lie. Not a loud lie, not an obvious lie, but a quiet, beautiful, and very dangerous one. They told you that life is fair, that if you work harder than others, if you stay patient, obedient, and disciplined, success will eventually come to you. They said suffering builds character. They said sacrifice is noble. They said pain means you are on the right path. And because it sounded moral, you believed it. Your teachers praised effort more than results. Your parents praised struggle more than strategy. Society praised people who were always busy, always tired, always stressed. Slowly, you learned to connect exhaustion with worth. You learned that resting feels like guilt. You learned that saying no feels selfish. You learned that being tired feels important. So you kept going. You worked longer hours. You accepted more responsibility. You carried more weight. And yet somehow, you stayed in the same place. Here is the truth that hurts to accept. The world does not reward effort. It never has. The world rewards ownership. Look at history carefully. The people who carried the heaviest stones were never kings. They were slaves. They built the pyramids, not the thrones. They built the empires, not the crowns. Their bodies were broken. Their names were erased. And when the work was finished, they were replaced. Hard work did not make them powerful. Hard work made them useful. Meanwhile, the ones who owned the land, the tools, the armies, and the rules did not bleed. They planned, they decided, they controlled. Their effort was not physical, it was strategic. This is not ancient history. This is happening right now. Today, the lie has better marketing. We call it hustle. We call it grind. We call it work ethic. Social media glorifies sleepless nights and burnout as if suffering itself is success. People compete over who is more exhausted, as if pain is a badge of honor. But ask yourself this simple question. If hard work alone created success, why are the hardest working people in the world still struggling to survive? Because effort without ownership does not build freedom. It builds dependency. When you give your energy freely, someone else owns the result. You trade your time, your health, your focus. And in return, you get permission to survive. That is not success. That is conditioning. The lie you were raised on was never meant to make you powerful. It was meant to make you compliant. And once you see this clearly, you can never unsee it. Two builders never own the pyramid. Now that you understand the lie, look at what it creates. Look at the world around you. Look at offices, factories, construction sites, and cities. Millions of people wake up every morning to build something they will never own. They give their best years, their strongest energy, their sharpest focus. And at the end, they walk away with nothing permanent. This is not a mistake. This is how the system works. History makes this painfully clear. The pyramids were not built by kings. The kings did not carry stones under the sun. They did not bleed. They did not collapse from exhaustion. The pyramids were built by nameless men who worked until their bodies failed. When they died, more were brought in to replace them. The builders were many, the owners were few, and nothing has changed. Today, you may not carry stones on your back, but you carry deadlines, pressure, stress, and responsibility. You build companies, brands, systems, and empires that do not belong to you. You are told to feel proud of this. You are told to feel grateful. But pride does not equal power. Right now, many people are building monuments to someone else's glory with their own sweat. Their effort increases the value of something they do not control. When the project ends, when profits fall, or when they become inconvenient, they are removed without hesitation. The system does not feel loyalty. It feels efficiency. And this is where frustration is born. That quiet anger you feel late at night. That sense that something is wrong. It is not laziness. It is awareness trying to wake up. Deep down, you know the game is unfair. You know that no matter how hard you push, the finish line keeps moving. That is because effort alone does not change your position in the hierarchy. Builders are necessary. Owners are powerful. Builders are rewarded with survival. Owners are rewarded with control. This is why simply working your way up rarely works. Carrying more bricks does not turn you into the architect. Being the best worker does not make you the decision maker. In fact, the better you are at building, the more the system needs you exactly where you are. Hard work makes you valuable, but only as a tool. And tools are not promoted. They are used. Understanding this is uncomfortable because it breaks the fantasy that loyalty will be noticed, that sacrifice will be remembered, that suffering will be repaid. Most people would rather believe the lie than face this truth, because the truth demands a change in thinking. If you keep identifying yourself as the builder, you will always be paid like one. If you want a different outcome, you must understand a different role, because pyramids are not owned by those who build them. They are owned by those who design them. 3. Power is not effort. It is leverage. By now, one truth should be clear. Working harder does not move you closer to power. It only makes you more useful to those who already have it. The real difference between those at the top and those at the bottom is not intelligence, talent, or morality. It is leverage. Leverage means being able to create results without burning your own body and time. It means one decision can move thousands of people. One idea can create wealth. One position can control outcomes. Effort multiplies fatigue. Leverage multiplies impact. A man with leverage can sleep while things move in his favor. A man without leverage must stay awake, constantly pushing, or everything collapses. This is why the powerful look calm, while the hard-working look exhausted. Think about it carefully. A factory owner does not work harder than the workers. A platform owner does not create more content than the creators. A landowner does not farm harder than the farmer, yet they earn more. Why? Because they control the system in which effort is spent. Effort is linear. You give 1 hour, you get 1 hour of output. When your energy ends, everything stops. Leverage is exponential. One move continues to work long after you stop touching it. This is why effort is praised loudly, and leverage is discussed quietly. Society teaches you to sell time, not to build systems. You are trained to follow instructions, not to design them. You are rewarded for obedience, not for positioning yourself above the game. And the more effort you invest without leverage, the harder it becomes to escape. You become dependent on constant motion. Rest feels dangerous. Slowing down feels like falling behind. Your identity becomes tied to being busy. This is not ambition. This is a trap. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power does not come from strength alone. Strength without position is wasted. The strongest soldier still follows orders. The smartest worker still answers to someone who owns the structure. Leverage can be ownership, influence, information, networks, or control over resources. It is anything that allows you to benefit from effort that is not your own. This is uncomfortable to hear because it challenges the idea that fairness exists in the real world. But the world is not fair. It is structured. Those who understand structure rise above effort. Those who ignore it drown in it. This does not mean you stop working. It means you stop worshiping work. You stop confusing motion with progress. You start asking a more dangerous question: who benefits from my effort? Because once your effort starts building leverage instead of fatigue, everything changes. Your energy lasts longer. Your choices expand. Your position shifts. And position, not effort, is where real power lives. 4. Why exhaustion is a weapon. Exhaustion is not just a side effect of modern life. It is a tool. When a person is tired, they do not think clearly. When they are overwhelmed, they do not question rules. When they are constantly rushing, they do not stop to ask who benefits from their struggle. A tired mind accepts reality instead of challenging it. This is why exhaustion is everywhere. You are encouraged to stay busy. Your schedule is packed. Your attention is pulled in 100 directions. You are always behind, always catching up, always tired. And you're told this is normal. You're told that is ambition. You're told this is success. It is not. Exhaustion keeps people obedient. A rested person observes. A tired person reacts. When you're exhausted, survival becomes your only goal. You focus on the next task, the next bill, the next deadline. Big questions feel dangerous. Long-term thinking feels like a luxury you cannot afford. So you stay inside the system, even when the system is draining you. This is not accidental. An exhausted population does not organize. An exhausted population does not rebel. An exhausted population does not study power. They scroll. They consume. They sleep just enough to repeat the cycle. Look at how rest is treated. Rest is called laziness. Slowing down is shamed. Silence feels uncomfortable. If you're not producing, you feel guilty. This guilt keeps you moving even when your body and mind are breaking. But notice something important. The most powerful people are never rushing. They are not exhausted. They protect their energy carefully. They understand that energy is capital, and like any valuable resource, it must be controlled, not wasted. They think in years while others think in days. They plan while others panic. Exhaustion shortens your vision. When you are tired, you accept bad deals. When you're tired, you settle. When you're tired, you obey. This is why exhaustion is praised, but rest is attacked. A system that feeds on effort needs you tired enough to keep working, but not rested enough to think. And this creates a dangerous illusion. People believe they are failing because they are not trying hard enough. In reality, they are failing because they are trying in the wrong direction, inside a structure designed to drain them. Awareness begins when you protect your energy. This is not about quitting work. It is about refusing to be constantly drained, because the moment you stop being exhausted, you start seeing clearly. And a clear mind is the greatest threat to any system built on control. 5. Hustle culture is modern propaganda. Hustle culture is everywhere. You see it on social media. You see it in your office. You see it in every motivational quote that tells you to grind harder, rise earlier, and sacrifice everything. But what if I told you this is not motivation? What if I told you it's propaganda? Hustle culture exists to make you work for someone else. It convinces you that exhaustion is honor. It teaches you to glorify suffering. It trains you to equate being busy with being valuable, and you believe it. You post your long hours, your sleepless nights, your endless tasks. You are proud to be needed. You wear your stress like a badge. But think about it carefully. Who benefits from your suffering? Who gains when you sacrifice your health, your time, and your mind? The system, your boss, your company, social media algorithms, everyone but you. This is why you are still stuck. You're working harder than ever, but your results are not increasing. You are producing, sweating, struggling, and yet the rewards are slim. Why? Because effort alone does not equal power. Effort without leverage is a trap. Leverage is the hidden rule. Leverage is doing less, but controlling more. Leverage is knowing when to act, when to speak, when to step back. Hustle culture wants you to ignore leverage. It wants you to burn out because a tired worker is a controllable worker. A tired worker does not question. A tired worker obeys. A tired worker is replaceable, and that is perfect for the system. Look at the CEOs, the billionaires, the most powerful people in the world. Are they exhausted? Do they chase every minor task? No. They move slowly, observe carefully, and act strategically. Their value is not in how hard they work. Their value is in what they control, who they influence, and the decisions they make. They are not slaves to motion. They are masters of leverage. Hustle culture tells you to worship the hammer. It says, lift more, grind more, bleed more. But the hammer is just a tool. True power comes from knowing when to lift and when to plan. It comes from working smart, not endlessly. It comes from creating space in your life, energy in your mind, and a blueprint for your own success. The first step to breaking free is awareness. Understand that your constant busyness is not ambition. It is manipulation. It is a trap. It is designed to make you predictable, expendable, and obedient. The next step is to reclaim your time, your energy, and your mind. Stop glorifying exhaustion. Stop chasing approval. Stop being the engine of someone else's empire. Start thinking strategically. Start using leverage. Start becoming the architect, not the worker. Because once you see hustle culture for what it is, once you stop buying into the lie, you stop being a slave. You start being unstoppable. 6. The fox versus the lion. In life, most people think being strong means being a lion. They think power comes from brute force, from showing off muscles, working harder, and grinding endlessly. They roar, they push, they carry heavy loads. They believe effort is the ultimate tool. They think that if they endure enough pain and toil, they will be rewarded. But history and strategy teach a different lesson. Niccolo Machiavelli, the great observer of power, taught that true strength is a balance between the lion and the fox. The lion is brute force, fearless and strong, but predictable. The fox is cunning, aware, and strategic. It sees traps, plans ahead, and moves without being noticed. Most people are lions in a world full of traps. They charge headfirst into problems, hoping that sheer effort will break the obstacles. They fight, bleed, and roar, but they rarely win. Why? Because the world is not shaped by effort alone. The world is shaped by cunning, by timing, and by leverage. The fox does not fight every battle. The fox observes. It finds weaknesses, identifies patterns, and acts when the time is right. The fox turns the environment to its advantage. The fox is patient, calculating, and invisible until it strikes. The fox wins without exhausting itself. Think about your life. Are you rushing, sweating, and panicking to prove you are strong? Or are you taking the time to observe, plan, and strike with precision? Most people are trapped in the mindset of the lion. They equate being busy with being powerful. But the fox knows the truth. Power is in control, not effort. To be the fox, you must stop trying to do everything. Stop being the first to raise your hand for every task. Stop overperforming in areas that do not increase your leverage. Stop volunteering your energy for someone else's empire. You must learn to be selective, to focus only on what matters, and to let others carry the burdens that do not serve your strategy. This does not mean laziness. It means intelligence. It means positioning yourself where your effort produces the maximum result. It means understanding the value of patience, silence, and observation. The fox understands that the straight line is rarely the safest path. It curves, it waits, it calculates, and it executes when the moment guarantees victory. The lion fights blindly. The fox wins quietly. The world rewards the fox, not the lion. And the harsh truth is, if you keep acting like a lion in a world full of traps, you will exhaust yourself and still remain invisible. You will be just another worker, another cog, another expendable resource. The choice is yours. Continue to roar in the wrong arena, or become the fox, patient, strategic, and unstoppable. Start seeing the traps. Start valuing leverage over labor. Start being unseen but in control. This is the path of the strategist. This is the path to true power. 7. Leverage is everything. Most people live their lives thinking that hard work alone will get them ahead. They measure success by the hours they put in, the sweat they spill, and the pain they endure. They believe that the more they grind, the closer they are to winning. But this is a dangerous trap. Effort does not equal reward. In fact, most people work tirelessly and accomplish little because they are missing the most powerful tool of all: leverage. Leverage is the secret that separates the worker from the strategist. It is the principle that allows a single action, a single decision, or a single connection to create results far beyond what ordinary effort can produce. Without leverage, you are just spinning your wheels. You can lift 1,000 bricks and go home exhausted. But if you never own the quarry, you are still a slave. The worker works. The strategist leverages. Think about the most successful people in the world. Are they constantly exhausted? Do they overextend themselves? Rarely. They understand leverage. They delegate, automate, and position themselves so that a small effort creates massive results. A single email, a single phone call, a single idea can generate more wealth and influence than years of grueling work. This is not luck. It is calculated power. Leverage comes in many forms. It can be money. Capital allows you to make things happen without lifting a finger. It can be technology. Tools multiply your effectiveness and save time. It can be people. Networks are the hidden machines of influence. It can even be knowledge. Information gives you the ability to predict, influence, and control outcomes. The more leverage you have, the less effort is needed, and the more control you gain. Most people misunderstand this. They see others achieving with ease and think it is unfair. They assume those who succeed are working harder, when in reality, they are working smarter. They have identified levers and are using them ruthlessly. And the cruel truth is, if you do not find your leverage, you will remain a slave to your labor, exhausted and frustrated, while the strategists quietly build empires. To master leverage, you must change your mindset. Stop worshiping hard work for its own sake, Stop believing that suffering is noble. Stop measuring your worth by how much you sacrifice. The world does not reward suffering. It rewards control. And control comes from leverage. Start asking yourself, where can I multiply my effort? Which tasks can I delegate? Which tools can I use? Which relationships can I cultivate? Which skills give me the most advantage? Stop being a worker. Start being an architect. Stop carrying the bricks. Start designing the city. Leverage is the difference between a life spent running in circles and a life spent building real power. Leverage allows you to do less and achieve more. It allows you to stop being a beast of burden and start becoming the architect of your own destiny. Those who understand leverage do not struggle. They control. Those who ignore it suffer endlessly. The choice is clear. Either continue grinding for scraps or learn the art of leverage. Conserve your energy and create results that ordinary effort could never achieve. Master this, and you step out of the cage. You step into freedom. You step into power. 8. Becoming the architect. You have seen the trap of hard work. You have understood the power of leverage. Now it is time to become the architect of your own life. Most people live as builders. They carry bricks for someone else's vision, sweat and bleed for someone else's glory, and measure their worth by the weight of the load they can lift. But architects think differently. They do not count effort. They count results. They do not measure themselves by how tired they are. They measure themselves by how much control they have over outcomes. Becoming the architect begins with a single realization. The world does not reward effort, obedience, or suffering. It rewards vision, strategy, and positioning. If you want to escape the endless cycle of exhaustion, you must start designing instead of building. The blueprint is everything. Before you pick up a brick, you must know where it belongs. Before you act, you must understand the terrain. Before you spend your energy, you must understand the returns. The architect sees the entire picture, while the builder only sees the next step. Your energy is your most valuable asset. Most people waste it. They pour it into meaningless tasks, urgent demands, and the expectations of others. But the architect hoards energy like gold. Every action is deliberate. Every effort has a purpose. The architect does less but achieves more because each move is calculated. The architect creates gaps, strategic absences that make their presence powerful. While others grind and become invisible, the architect becomes indispensable, mysterious, and feared. To think like an architect, you must detach your self-worth from your labor. You're not valuable because you are tired, because you suffer, or because you are needed. You are valuable because of the results you control, the leverage you hold, and the vision you execute. Stop proving yourself to others. Stop begging for approval. The architect does not compete in the same arena as the masses. They build a new arena where they are the ruler. Start by mapping your life. Identify the areas where you can apply leverage. Recognize the tasks that do not require your skill, and let others handle them. Use your mind, your strategy, your unique position to create outcomes that others cannot. Remember, you are not here to be the hardest worker. You are here to be the smartest, the most calculated, and the most strategic. The final test of becoming an architect is patience. You will face pressure to conform, to grind, to prove yourself in the old ways. Resist. The long game is not visible to the impatient. It is built in silence with deliberate actions, calculated risks, and relentless observation. One day, your empire will rise, not because you ran faster or worked harder, but because you understood the system and played it, while others were trapped by it. The builders will still sweat. They will still carry the load. They will still chase recognition and validation. You will watch from above. You will plan. You will execute. You will control outcomes. You will own your life, your time, and your power. This is freedom. This is sovereignty. This is mastery. Remember, the moment you stop being a beast of burden and start being the architect, the world will try to pull you back. Ignore it. Build your blueprint. Find your levers. Protect your energy. Observe silently. Execute ruthlessly. Step into the arena of strategy, not struggle. This is how you become unstoppable. This is how you become powerful. This is how you become the architect of your own destiny. Final CTA. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is awareness waking up. This channel exists for people who refuse to die tired, waiting for a thank you that never comes. Subscribe if you're done being a beast of burden, and if you want what cannot be said publicly. The uncensored psychology, the real leverage. Click the join button and step into the architect level. Most won't. That's the point.